Hi there, this is Kim Willis, and I've got a video version of a blog post that I put up in February 2015, and it's called Daegan Smith Regrets He's Had a Few. Now, if you're a marketer and you've been around for a little while, you've probably heard of this guy, Daegan Smith. And he's had a colourful history. He used to be a professional wrestler, I believe, and he's been $1 million earner. Maybe he's back at that level, but he certainly experienced some hard times. His business crashed around his ears a few years ago, and he's rebuilt from there. He's a likable guy. He is a great marketer. Yeah, he is. He's a great marketer. He's not always. He's not what I'd call a detail person. So sometimes he hasn't always delivered on some of the promises that he's made. I can say that because I have purchased a program off him. It was a $2,000 program, and it was really, really bad. It was supposed to be, you're supposed to get a heap of leads and all this sort of stuff. It was a traffic type program, and got sweet FA out of it. But I forgive and I forget, because I do like a lot of his ideas, and hopefully he's learnt from some of the problems or mistakes that he's made in the past. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of the key points from this blog post, and where necessary I will embellish. So let's have a go here. The subheading here is Daegan Smith fesses up about his internet marketing travails. Internet marketing guru Daegan Smith is an interesting character, a brilliant marketer with a colourful background, ex-wrestler, failed internet marketer, now reborn. Daegan recently told the story of how his $1 million a year income went down the gurgler due to problems with payment processors. They stopped paying him when their exposure to his escalating sales gave them the heebie-jeebies. So they pulled the plug, just like that. And that was several years ago, and Daegan, being Daegan, simply brushed himself off and started all over again. And after closing down his flagship membership site, Maximum Leverage, 3 years ago, he recently announced to the world that it was open for business again. So the question that a lot of people are asking is, has Daegan changed? Well, maybe, maybe not. His lack of attention to detail is legendary, and certainly if his error-strewn emails are any indication, it appears that nothing much has changed. But that's okay. Daegan is a creative guy, and when he is at his peak, he's hard to beat. He's one of those rare marketers who has great perception. To solve a marketing-related problem, he knows exactly what the real issues are, and he's very good at peeling away the layers and getting to the heart of the matter and coming up with a clever solution. Anyway, recently, another thing I should point out is that he's a very good teacher. So he's not just a great marketer. Some marketers are fantastic marketers, but they're not great teachers. I can think of one right now, Russell Brunson. He's a great marketer, but at least for me, I find his teaching style extremely annoying, and I just can't handle him. And there are other marketers that come to mind who are like that. They just don't. Some people are just born teachers, and others aren't. So whereas Daegan is a great marketer, but he's also a really good teacher. Okay, now, so I'll just talk about how I recently got an email from Daegan, and in his rambling way, he made a devastating critique about people who seek to make money in a home business, particularly an internet-style business. Now, here are some of the key points, and this stuff really is good. So just listen intently here. Don't ever start a business and either not know who your customer is or just look for sales from anywhere, because both will crush you. He then goes on to talk about purpose, or the lack thereof, of most marketers. Because most marketers don't start a business with a purpose, they start a business hoping that they might get lucky. Now, if we really want to get down and dirty to the nitty-gritty, the truth isn't even the first cause of failure for most. Most people fail because they violate the first of the four universal laws of marketing, that being profit demands value. But most do the opposite. The last big point that he makes is brutal but so accurate. They move in direct opposition to the first law. They want to buy into someone else's value, then they want the best system that someone else has created for that business, and they make sure they're in the best team. Every one of those choices is moving away from creating value, so don't do that. Now, of course, it's great advice. It's great advice, but the reality is that hordes of people take this approach. Hordes of people join companies, network marketing companies, for instance, because they have created the value. And so as a result of that, they think, these people who join these programs think that they don't have to create the value because this third party has created the value. And now they think that because they may find, because they don't know any better, or they do know better, but they're too lazy or unmotivated to do anything about it. So they take the line of least resistance by buying into someone else's value. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but in itself. But when you basically give yourself over to a company like a network marketing company, where they want you, they want your brain, they want to basically own you, at least own the way you think and act in relation to their business, then we do have a problem. And the problem is that you lack control over outcomes. And I'm talking about ultimate outcomes. You don't control how that business is conducted or managed. And if the business changes, or God forbid the business goes broke, you are left holding nothing. You have nothing of value that you have created. You haven't created any asset. You haven't created a brand, like an online brand or anything like that. You've got nothing. So I'll just read that again. They move in direct opposition to the first law. They want to buy into someone else's value, then they want the best system that someone else has created for that business, and they make sure they're in the best team. Every one of those choice, you see what I'm saying about typos here? That's him. I just copied and pasted. I didn't clean up his grammar. Every one of those choices is moving away from creating value, so don't do that. Yeah, it's a really good point that he makes. And he does get to the heart of the matter. And I go on to say in this blog post that the problem with most marketers is that they go looking for an opportunity when the real opportunity lies with us. We're the ones who should be creating our own value and projecting it to the world. And we don't do that by buying into someone else's value, therefore transferring control from us to them, which is more or less what I said when I was ad-libbing just before. Once that happens, we're at the mercy of their decision-making abilities, their judgment. A couple of bad calls can bring a business down. And their moral code. Are they wolves in sheep's clothing? What happens when the pressure is on? Do they take ethical or legal shortcuts that will hurt us as affiliates or reps or distributors for their products? Important points to think about. Does that mean that we shouldn't join a network marketing business or an affiliate marketing opportunity? No. But what it does mean is that it is sheer folly to invest our hopes into a single entity that we cannot control. It means that you must be constantly creating your own value via your own personal brand building activities, so that if one day you have to say goodbye to the favored one, you can do it without too much disruption and pain. Ultimately, the way forward is to develop your own product and market them directly to consumers or via affiliates with no network marketing aspect at all. Anyway, as I say thanks to Daegan for such a perceptive take on the home business industry. No doubt about it, Daegan is on the money. What do you think? Do you agree with the points that Daegan is making and the embellished points that I made? Do you agree with it? Or do you think it's a load of nonsense? Do you worship at the altar of your network marketing company, if indeed you're involved with a network marketing company? Or do you actively seek to create your own value? You build your own assets. You're building online assets. You've got an active and viable blog, for instance, because that's an asset. That's an asset that you own and control. So if you kind of like this topic about building value, etc., visit my blog. You can have a look at this article here again if you want. But I've got other content on there about what I'm sometimes called value building imperative. All right, and it's really about getting your thinking aligned with right concepts and principles. Because I think most people haven't got their thinking aligned with that. Now, it's we're not talking about my values. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not promoting a network marketing business to you. I don't have a network marketing business. I don't have an affiliate marketing business that I'm promoting to you. I don't own one of those companies. So I'm not asking you to join my company. All I'm asking you to do is to understand core principles that are universal. They're not my core principles. They are universal principles. All I am is the messenger. And I earnestly believe that the way forward for any marketer is for them to create their own assets, their own online assets, particularly if you're an internet marketer, obviously, to create your own online assets and build value via those assets. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you like it or you have another opinion, fine. Leave a comment, and I'll pick up on those comments, and I'll answer where I can. All right. This is Kim Willis. Bye for now. By the way, whoops. My blog is kimwillis.net, by the way, kimwillis.net, not .com. kimwillis.net. Okay, bye for now.